In the United States, South Carolina's state Senate voted Monday to remove the Civil War-era Confederate flag that has flown over parts of the state capitol for more than 50 years. The push to remove the Confederate flag from the State House grounds came after photos emerged of the alleged gunman in the Charleston church shooting, Dylan Roof, holding a small version of the Confederate flag in various settings, including the site of a slave plantation. Those who want to get rid of the flag say no one can escape the fact that it once stood for a fight to keep slavery legal and is a constant reminder of white supremacy. Opponents of the measure say the banner is not about slavery and racism, but Southern history, pride, and family heritage. Now, since U.S. President Barack Obama took office in 2009, more than a dozen mass shootings have occurred, prompting the president to call for calm. The most recent one, a shooting by a young white man, killed 9 blacks in a South Carolina church. In part 1 of our special series, VOA's Carolyn Presutti takes a look at the president and his difficulty in talking about race and guns.
In his 2 terms as president,
this morning, we woke up to news of a tragedy.
Barack Obama
Any shooting is troubling.
Has dealt with at least 12 mass shootings.
So our hearts are broken today.
Lately, it's about shootings and racism.
None of us can or should expect a transformation in race relations overnight.
But that's what some expected from the country's first African-American president.
Have water.
Jonna Hawkins will vote for the first time in the next presidential election.
People thought that when Obama got in office, he was for the black people and for the black people only. And, but in actuality, how much has he done for the black people?
Hawkins lives less than 3 kilometers from where Baltimore rioted over the death of a black man while in police custody. A month and a half later in South Carolina, a white man shot and killed 9 blacks inside a Charleston church. A 2014 study found that while the divide is lessening, the number of gun-related deaths of African Americans is double that of whites.
America was built on racism in many ways.
Sociologist Chris Marsh says these days it's tougher to spot racism.
We moved from very overt kind of racism to covert racism, which is dangerous and insidious because it's harder to call it out, it's harder to acknowledge it, and the other side of that, it's easier to not acknowledge it.
Like Dylan Roof, who posted his racist views in an internet manifesto. But some say Roof's goal of a race war failed when people of every color came together after the mass murder.
I don't think President Obama alone can fix race. And I certainly don't think President Obama alone can fix guns.
Cornell Brooks is president of the NAACP, the nation's largest and oldest civil rights organization. He says the solution lies with ordinary people.
It's not enough for us to talk at a kind of grand theory level. We have to get down to the level of battles. How do we address bias or bigotry in the school system? What specific ways can we address that? What specific ways can we address employment challenges?
Some say it starts with the push to be color blind. Others say that erases diversity. And instead, Americans should be color fair, which starts with each individual. Carolyn Presutti, VOA News, Washington.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54, and check out all headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince McCory.